It's a pleasure for me to be back to Raisina Dialogue. In Europe, everybody rushes to Davos, but for me, being here with you, I think it's much more important. Last year, I came as a Spanish foreign minister, and this year I have the pleasure to participate in my new capacity of High Representative of the European Union for Foreign and Security Policy. And that is precisely what I would like to talk today. The common foreign policy and defense and security policy that 28, well, now 27 European Union member states have decided to build. Common doesn't mean unique. A common policy means that each one can have its own policy and sharing a common understanding. But a common understanding of foreign policy is difficult to build because a country foreign policy is a way to project its own identity to the outside world. And it's a difficulty for the Europeans. It puts us in a difficult situation because we are still a player in search of identity. We still don't know exactly what kind of role we want to play. Let me elaborate a little bit more about that. We Europeans, we should be proud of what we have achieved. From the ashes of the World War II, we built a system that combines political freedom, economic prosperity, and social cohesion. One of the best in the world. We suppressed borders among us, borders that were the scars that history had left in the skin of our continent. And we are together in a union because we agree that we unite us. It's much more important than what divides us. But however, I also have to recognize that today we are facing a nationalist and populist comeback that can put into question these achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 wars between Germany and France in the short period of 70 years, the same number of years that India became independent, the European Union has created to prevent us from using the power, the idea of power, against each other. The European Union was built on the basis that not to use power. But today, this logic is no longer valid. And instead of curtailing our power, we should use our union to enhance it. Our historical project does not, as it often is being believed or presented, is not aimed at abolishing the sovereignty of European states in favor of a kind of super European state. It has an objective very precise, is to enable European states to do collectively what we cannot longer do alone. That is what Europe is all about, doing together what we can no longer do, each one of us, on our parts. It means to share sovereignty, but sometimes to have less formal sovereignty brings you the capacity of being more autonomous or have more real sovereignty in order to be able to take your own decisions. Let me put an example. In 2004, Spain sent troops to Iraq. But after the elections and the change of a government, the new prime minister decided to withdraw the Spanish troops. We did it, and nothing happened. Nothing happened because we had the euro as a currency. Because if we had had our old currency, the peseta, this peseta would have suffered devaluations after devaluations, suffering speculative attacks in the financial markets, and we should have forgotten about the idea of withdrawing our troops. So having less formal sovereignty, at the end it brings you more real sovereignty. This teaches us that pooling our monetary policies gives us more capacity to have more power, more autonomy in the world. Trade is one of the best examples of how we sharing